Well, and this is another thing where let's
Jay, in the beginning of the book, it talks about a couple that was having some problems, and they were going to divorce, and then I think they found the book. Well, I've forgotten that portion of it, but I know that it worked for them, and they got back together. For my children, which are adults almost at this point, they're looking at our behavior now, and I ask them to continually think about everything that I've ever taught them. Try it on, see if it still works. If it doesn't work, get rid of it and find something else that does work, so that we don't keep doing the same things over and over again, having the same kind of relationships that may not work or whatever. So what can you offer in that?
Well, there's one of the things about Loving Sober is that and why it works very, very well for couples of goodwill, single people, and people in business, is that we're teaching concrete, practical principles that, if you apply them, change the dynamic of any relationship. Now, I, like you, grew up in a home that was interesting, as I described, in the way the difference between what was taught and what was exhibited. Mm-hmm. What Loving Sober does is it focuses on behaviors. And not me getting you to behave properly, but me to learn what behaviors really produce the result in the relationship that I want. Now, my children take a look at me, as they did with you, and they're baffled by the disconnect between what I say and what I do. Loving Sober gives you the ability to start to be on the same page with your partner when you're modeling behaviors to your children. And so it's very, very helpful for people that have children of any age, in that suddenly there's not that dynamic. If I go to mom, I'm going to get one thing. I go to dad, I'm going to get another. When it comes to really concrete, fundamental behaviors. Mm-hmm. Another thing that's very helpful about this teaching is that it works well with people that are divorced. In other words, it gives them a shared consciousness so that the child is getting the same information about manipulation, about honesty, about rudeness, about straightforwardness, about being responsible instead of irresponsible. And just a very simple thing like that word, responsible. Responsible always felt to me like, you know that really heavy coat they put on you when you're going to take an x-ray?
Right.
The lead.
Yes. Yep.
I'm responsible. You know, and it was about doing things right and properly, focusing on what's right. No, it's about being able to respond to any given situation. One of the great definitions of life is that it is an organism that is able to respond to its environment. And so suddenly, instead of walking around being responsible, I learned to open up and to respond to my environment. How do I do that? Well, as I learn very, very, slowly but surely about how to be courteous to other people, how to be really sensitive to them. I'm not talking about touchy, but how to really learn to listen to another person, to hear them, and seeing the practical results when I do that, how things change for the positive. Mm-hmm. So again, this is an experiment. You will find from your own experience how things change and how things change in the way that you are modeling to your children.
That's amazing. And everybody's on the same page. What's up with that, right? No wonder things will work, okay?
And again, this is not about imposing a better set of morals. This is not about, this is about really, really practical stuff that everybody can agree on, no matter what your spiritual or lack of spiritual training.
Mm-hmm. So it's for simple people, right? Simple people can do this?
Well, yeah, it's not that we're simple. It's that we get confused about who we are.
Mm.
And this is about being able to remember who we are. And how it is that we would like our world to experience our world. And it's all about picturing of our consciousness. And so it's about really changing our awareness, growing in awareness, changing our consciousness so that our experience changes.
I want to go back just a little bit towards the beginning when we were talking about having somebody to go through this with.
Mm-hmm.
If I do this on my own, I've got my best thinking. And I feel like I'm limited when I do that on my own. Now, certainly I get something out of the reading, absolutely. But I can go further outside of, if I'm thinking outside of my box with some help.
Mm-hmm.
So how is it that, how do you take a couple through this series and the benefits of, obviously, of doing it with someone instead of doing it alone?
When